Greetings, fellow Earthlings. I'm Neil. I enjoy writing to get the creative juices flowing. And so one of the places where you can write and get feedback is the writing prompts on Reddit. I had only been in the community for, less than about 6 months, so I don't know everything about this community, but at least I get the gist of what people are interested in, supposedly. As you can see, now it's November and the NaNoWriMo is going on. This year I'm not going to attend, but if you're interested, you can certainly try. And maybe you can, win a prize or something. Accreditation, right? However, writing on Reddit, or in this particular subreddit, writing prompts, it is like an investment. As like any other content creation, if you're creating YouTube videos, you have to know at what particular time frame you are going to post your video. So for example, right now, on this subreddit, you can see there is only about 1,375 people who are active. So now might not be the best time to post, because you are not going to reach the the largest number of audiences. So you can just hold off on engaging, just try to wait until, because you have to analyze the demographics of Reddit. If you just check on Google, I think 50%, roughly 50% is actually from the United States of America. So you have to know the time zone differences, yeah. And the users, their age group is mostly young people, supposedly. You can check out the data for yourself. Anyhow, when you are trying to write, if you know how the writing prompt subreddit works, it's somebody will submit a writing prompt, and if you're interested, you will just post, and then others will upvote your content if they like it. So, but then again, the thing is, when you are trying to compete with all the other writers out there, you have to keep, you have to have a discipline, or at least keep a few things in mind. So basically, you have to know, for example, this post is 11 hours ago, but only has it's constrained. In Reddit, you have added flares, right? It's off-topic or constrained writing, or just writing prompts. So you have to choose which one to write for, because when you are writing, it is sort of like an investment, right? You want to have the most people to read your content and upvote the post as, basically you want an audience, and you want the most amount of upvotes to ensure or to satiate your pride, So when you are trying to analyze the writing prompts, you have to see first the upvotes, and then the comments, how many people had posted to this writing prompt, and also how long ago was this post posted. Basically, you have to analyze these things. If a writing prompt is already 12 hours old, then it's probably not worth it. Even if it's not worth it to write anything for it, even if it might have more than 10,000 upvotes. Because if you put your content right now, you might just simply don't rise to the top. However, so basically there's a time frame of the active engagement time frame. So for example, this one is 6 hours ago and has 900 something upvotes and only 25 replies. So this might be a good investment. So you might just want to click this one. So for this particular one, you are a haunted house and you are lonely, you have become self-conscious because every time you try to engage with visiting humans, they run away in fear. But the party of humans has just arrived, and you realize one of them is intent on killing the rest. And now this instantly can get interesting because it involves the horror genre, and you might instantly think of the Cabin Fever, or the Cabin in the Woods, or the Blair Witch Project, or Jason, Five Nights at Freddy's, or whatever the haunted horrors you're interested in, or Saw even. And then, or even a detective novel. It depends on which approach you wanted to make. But because it is a writing prompt, so you have like certain limitations, right? So the first thing you can do is to read all of the other prompts. Like it has like 25 prompts, and minus the one that is posted by the auto moderator, you have like 24 posts. And then you can read them and analyze why they get the upvotes. But like if you're trying to write your content, they are like it's like just like with writing anything, you have to have the basic concept or the discipline. So for example, the time, the location, the characters, the cast of characters. At this time, you can basically picture yourself as the director. So you are going to imagine a group of people and the location. If it's like a haunted house in, for example, in a wealthy neighborhood, or is it a mansion, a haunted mansion, haunted house? It depends like what type of house, right? You have detached housing or the single house or apartments. Yeah, basically they didn't necessarily limit yourself on that. But like, can a house be an apartment? Possibly. Anyway, if you have a house, you might have a cellar, or if you are in the west coast, of America, they might have a storm cellar, or like heaters and something, and also like all kinds of equipment or something that might be in the house and that can be used to in this case the horror genre. You might have the like pitchforks or whatever, the dangerous or saws or the dangerous equipments or weapons to be used or to cast as to be made into traps. So basically you have to consider time, location, and characters. If it's a horror story and you set it in the daytime, it probably might not get the intended results. But well, if you are like basically if you want to write horror, you have to understand or to know what everyone is writing about on this particular genre, right? But also like daytime horror is also possible, like the empty house or the well, you can check out some Netflix series, something like that. And basically like if you had ever been to high school writing class or something, you might have heard of the 5 whiskeys in a hotel, the who, what, when, why, where, and how. Basically these are the things that you are going to consider. And then I have another category, is like the keywords. Basically these keywords are like the if you're writing a dissertation, you have these keywords to basically tell the people what your essay is about. So these keywords are not necessarily going to be given to the reader. These keywords, like for example, I wanted to think about let's say a rundown house. Yeah, that basically are placeholders or something that for me, for the writer to keep in mind. So when I create the scene and create characters and dedicates or forces these characters to act in a certain way, I have these keywords as a reference. And then when you're writing any story, there sometimes has to be a scene, when a critic is going to criticize or analyze your writing, but the thing is like, well, that, like literary analysis is something that if you're interested, you can check out those on your own. Like the themes, it might be like horror or whatever. And there are also the talks about the tropes and cliches in writing. Basically, don't be a lazy writer. Don't fall into the easily categorized, the criteria or whatever criterion. Basically, you wanted to create something new, so you can try to paraphrase or reword rephrase some of the commonly used expressions. Be creative. You are the writer. You want to flex your creative muscles, right? So just do it. And so like any story, like a murder mystery, you can think of like Agatha Christie or Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, Sherlock Holmes. Basically like the audience, the readers, they already know like one of the characters is going to try to kill the rest. So that mystery is, like, for example, alleviated. So now you're going to try to, because like you have to think about the time. like the investment. Because like for me, if I want to write 1,000 words, it might take me an hour, and there are only like limited amount of time that I can utilize, that I have like versatile. So basically, I can't write that much. So if I have like 8 people, and there's no time, it's definitely not enough time to flesh out all the characters. So I'm thinking like I will only have like 3 characters who are going to enter the house, and then it's going to happen in somewhere around the 1980s. But they will have night vision goggles, because like why not? Or thermal visions if you prefer. And so if they are going to have night vision goggles, at least these people, no matter their age group, they are going to be like quite wealthy, or the rich brats, something like that. But also I'm thinking like something like a love triangle. Like one of these 3 people, they're all male, and they all in love with with the same girl, and then one is trying to kill the other 2. So that's what I'm thinking. And then like what type of weapons are they going to carry? Are they going to carry guns, crossbows, blades, or something? You can have all those things into consideration. And then also like when you're trying to write a writing prompt, sometimes you can try to search for certain images that might fit the narrative or the setting. And then you can then use these images as a placeholder or an inspiration for you to, to make sure the story transpires, or like the story goes as vividly as possible, right? And if I have time, I might write about like one person, a shady person. If you ever like watch like a Case Closed or Detective Conan, you have the villain is like a black is completely cast in black clothing. It's like until at the end of the episode, it's his or her or their identity gets revealed, and something like that. So basically, because like I don't want to write that long, I don't have that time. So basically, I won't use more paragraphs to describe this person sneaking into the house and making all these traps. And then, because like you are a haunted house and you're lonely, basically these are limitations. So but however, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to befriend the characters who are going to enter your house, right? To enter the house, you can be a lonely person, but you wanted to watch them kill each other. If you are the chaotic, neutral, or whatever the types, like if you play DMZ, Dungeons and Dragons, or Call of Cthulhu, the board games, you can have basically like alignment, the evil alignments or the good alignments, right? So basically, you can be a naughty house. You can foil the plan of the villain, or you can be a saint trying to punish only the villain or try to save everyone, to make sure that like these character arcs or the character developments or the inciting incidents make it rich and interesting. Or maybe you only want to punish the villain, and then you can think of a spectacular or aggrandized way for the villain to die, or be brought to justice. And then like why are these people going into this house? There might be a group of paranormal activities